Right, guys. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ben's been busy at it again. He's pulled the 722.6 um, box apart out of the SLK. Um, Visually, there doesn't look to be anything really amiss. The clutch plates look fine, so that would be sort of more indicative that it was a valve body conductor plate issue with that box. Either way, we're not going to be using it ever again. Just as well, because Ben's pulled it apart and he probably can't remember how to put it back together. He's going to probably try and make some sculpture out of the gears from it. Yeah, let's get into it.
Well, I stripped the box down. That's basically most of it. There's another planetary drive that sits here, but I'm going to make something out of this lot. I've just no idea what. But yeah, it's certainly amusing. I unfortunately can't say for sure what went wrong with it. I suspect it was a conductor plate, but I think something mechanical jammed up in here so it wouldn't go beyond third gear. That was the problem with it. But all the clutch plates seem to be okay. None of them are blue or burnt or anything. So I don't know. All I know is I've got a lot of round things and gears and stuff to make other things out of. So I'm happy.
Right, so as you saw there, Ben had pulled the box apart and had some fun with that. I must say though, the 722.6 is a really simple box. Mechanically, it's so easy to get apart and essentially rebuild. It's not a challenging gearbox at all. The only challenging thing is remembering the order that they go in. And so the next part is moving on to the removing the cylinder head from the old engine. Now, we were going to sell the turbo manifold from this car, but now we're not. We took it off, welds are cracked, the thing looks a state. We can't ask what we'd like for it, so we can't sell it in that condition. We're not gonna. Now, we are considering making more, but TIG welding from the start. We made the mistake of MIG welding these ones anyway. That's not why you called. We removed the head. Well, Ben removed the head, and you'll see what follows.
Today's task is strip down this thing and see what went wrong in there. So that's going to be fun and probably take me an hour or so. Well, this is with the head off the engine that was in the SLK. Now, I'm not sure, but it looks like the gasket wasn't sealing here, here and here. It's really strange. And then it looks like it's already starting to rot out in these cooling channels. I mean, it looks like it's been doing its job sealing this side, which is a block side. But the block itself is in brilliant condition. But the firings clearly haven't been sitting flat properly, so they've probably let coolant in. I mean, here is where I'd imagine that the coolant's got into the cylinders and caused all that steam. Probably expansion or something. Not that I'm bothered, I don't really care, but and this is the face of the head. And it doesn't look like it's been sealing in between these at all.
so the head probably has lifted. But them bolts was in tight, but under heat, different things happen to metals. Right, so I'm doing a bit of examining on the head, and I've got me ruler. Like, I know it's not a straight edge, but it makes the point. If I put that across there, you can see how far this is out. And this was a freshly skimmed head. I mean, look at that. And it's out this end as well. That was skimmed by Classic Road and Rally in Grantham. And that's not flat. It was never flat to start with. And the head bolts were done up really tight. And the head bolts haven't even stretched. They're still within spec. And another thing with the head from the company that skimmed it, there was all little metal shavings all in here, all in the valves, everywhere. They'd not even made any attempt to clean it. It took me ages to get every single little bit of swarf out. It's not what I expect when I get a job done and I pay good money for it. Now, credit to FAI, these things haven't stretched. I followed the WIS procedure tightening them up, and they've not stretched a single bit. They were holding that head right down.
Right, so we can't really say what happened there for sure. But what we do know is that must have been like that when it was fitted. Now, we did have it skimmed by Classic Road and Rally, but to be fair, it was a cheap job. So you get what you pay for kind of thing. But I don't know how you'd manage that while skimming ahead. That's the odd thing. Especially that far out across the surface. Now, granted, we know Ben was measuring that with a ruler, and you're supposed to actually use a dedicated straight edge tool for that, because of the flex in a ruler could give you a false idea of clearances. But there's enough there to show that that head is properly bananaed, and that's not going to be usable for anything ever again. But what's that tell us? Well, it tells us that it wasn't down to the turbo that happened. It wasn't down to, if that head hadn't been in that condition, that car, other than the gearbox issue, would have still been drivable and still would have been performing good, probably up until this day. So that's given us a little more confidence. Okay, it's given us a bit more confidence in that what we did was right. Gearbox, on the other hand, we know that it was just dumb. Whatever happened to that, and there's not much we can do about that. So bottom end of the engine, fine, that's good. Usual reusable bottom end. Just the top end toast. Head's completely toast. Now the annoying thing is, we have a head we know that is good on the shelf. We have many parts on the shelf, but in the next video, probably Wednesday, we've got something interesting to talk about. Well, it's probably more of an announcement, of sort of an idea that I've had. So yeah, until then guys, like and subscribe, stick around, and thanks for watching.